What's Really Hood, guys? I wanted to do a Thanksgiving What's Really Hood because I thought it was important. So I'm just sitting here walking nuggies. I usually record when I'm on my way to work, but I don't work today. We have off. So I thought today would be a good day to say, in gaming, what are we thankful for? So let me make it more specific. I was going to talk about, like, I'm thankful that, my dad got me so much stuff for video games and built my video game addiction, and I say that in a good way. But that's too plain and bland. How about favorite, what was the game that you thought you were the most thankful to get? Whether you bought it, maybe you worked really hard for it, and you got a promotion or something, and you're able to afford something, you got a new job, it's making a lot more money, or maybe somebody bought you one, right? And it was at a clutch time when you really, really wanted something. What was the game that you're most thankful for? And mine, I've said this story a lot on my channel in the past, so it's not going to come as a surprise to a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys that watch the channel are probably already knowing what it is. And mine is WWF Attitude on the PS1. And the story goes, I specifically just talked about a minute ago how my dad, basically built the addiction. And what I meant by that is, he's the one that mostly bought us the games. I mean, my dad was the one with a lot more money and stuff. My parents were split up at this time. And my dad would always get us everything with video games and action figures and all that stuff. But my mom would get more of the stuff like, at Christmas time, you got your underwear and shirts from her and pants and stuff like that. The things that the kids actually need. She got the needs. My dad got the wants, And so my mom was not really the person to ask when you wanted new video games or anything like that. It was pretty much going to be a no. And I've talked about a couple of times when, we'd get to go in the bargain bin at KB Toys or something like that. And she'd let us pick out some games. And I remember one time I got Golden Axe and Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I know was for sure one of them. I think the other one was Golden Axe. But there's a possibility I got Golden Axe from Toys R Us. I don't really remember. It was one of the two. But anyway, back to my mom. So I was sitting there one day, and I don't know why it crept up on me. Usually I was prepared for releases. I paid attention. I got all the magazines, the PSMs, stuff like that. I'd look up on the internet when it came out on GameSpot and stuff like that, and Cheat Code Central and other things like that. They had all kinds of news, Game Facts, that all had news about what was going on with the games. And so I pretty much knew what was going on. And WWF Attitude, I definitely knew was coming out soon too, because I watched wrestling and they'd show the ad commercial all the time and advertisements. I also got WWF Magazine that showed the ads as well. So I don't know how it crept up on me, but I remember that it came out the next day. And I remember panicking and going, oh no, because as a kid, I didn't have a way of just quickly getting money. It wasn't that simple. Sure, you'd go mow somebody's lawn and, you could shovel a driveway. And I did that stuff. Don't get me wrong. There was times I did that. Not so much mowing, but shoveling driveways for sure. I made a lot of money doing that. Every time it snowed, me and my buddies would go out. Me and Dustin. And so I was not prepared for this. And a lot of times I would save lunch money and stuff too. I would try to go easy on my lunch money. And I'd try to save a couple bucks every single day. And not dip into it too much. And be able to put it towards video games. And my mom didn't know I was doing that. But I would go hungry to get games. And just eat when I got home, I told you, I'm pretty hardcore about it. And so, I was usually prepared, right? Well, this time I was not, dude. I was screwed back against the wall. Nothing I could do, man. Oh, fuck. And I wanted WWF Attitude bad because I was a big fan of Warzone. I liked it. I thought Warzone was really good. And I knew that this one had bigger entrances, way bigger roster. And I mean, Attitude was at the WWF Attitude era was at full effect. I mean, wrestling was fucking huge. Stone Cold, Rock. And I'm just thinking, the possibilities are endless with this game. Are you going to be able to... I heard that it had a season mode on it and everything. And I was like, holy shit, dude, a season mode. And I seen the pictures of the calendar that's on there. I'm like, oh my God, you actually do house shows and stuff? Oh my God, I'm going crazy. Because that's one thing we always said about Warzone was we wish Warzone would have just had more. But all you did was climb up that pyramid fighting everybody. And then that was it. You just keep defending your title. Got kind of boring. And it only had like 12 wrestlers in the game. So there just wasn't a lot going on there where... Attitude, I think, had like 30 or 40 or something like that. Lots of different game matches, game types and stuff like that. It was really cool. So anyway, screwed and super excited to want to get it and have no way of doing it. So I go out to my mom. She's vacuuming, I still remember. And I said, hey, Ma, is there any way? I said, there's a game I really want. And I have no way of getting it. And I said, is there anything I can do? Or is there any way I can get this game? And I mean, I said everything under the sun, can I pay you back? Can I figure something out? What can I do to get this, And she, long pause, definitely thinking about it like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I ain't got the money for this shit, So I'm like, if you can't do it, Ma, because I always said this to her, if you can't do it, Ma, don't feel bad or nothing like that. Like I didn't really want to ask you. I know you probably don't have the money and stuff, but, I have no other choice. And I was just wondering if you happen to be able to do it or whatever, I said something along those lines. And so I said, if you can't, don't worry about it. It's okay. It is what it is, And so I wasn't mad at all if she would have said no. I was already prepared for her to say no, It was just last bullet in the chamber, man. It is what it is. So anyway, she goes, well, I'll think about it. She's like, I'll think about it. We'll see what happens. Just go with me in the errands I have to run today. And I was like, okay. And so little, backstory on my mom. Let's go this way, Nugs. Little backstory on my mom is when she says that, well, we'll see. It was usually, that's code for yes, yes. Come here. Let's go this way. But, so I was really excited. I was like, I got in my room and I was like, holy shit, like, am I going to get it, dude? And so I was just patient. I didn't say a word. I was just like, nope, I'm just going to, come here. I'm just going to chill, I'm not going to say anything. And so I go and she goes, all right, we're ready to go or whatever. And she's like, listen, if you run all these errands with me, I'll go ahead and get it for you. And I was like, what? And she's like, how much is it? And I think it was $40. I think it was 40 or $50. And I was like, oh, Mom, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll do work around the house, whatever you want me to do. And blah, 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 And she's like, oh, don't worry about it or whatever. And looking back at it, I thought to myself, she probably threw it on a credit card or something like that and just was going to work some overtime and pay it off later, But I always thought, like, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget how she did that because I know it was a big deal. My mom didn't drink or smoke and my mom just didn't have a ton of money. I mean, she must have just not made very good money, And I've never really asked her before, She was a team leader and a manager at some places, but they must not have paid, but she did work retail. And retail, now that I'm older, it pays garbage. I mean, that doesn't pay shit, dude. You have to get really high up in the company for retail to pay off. Like, you have to, have stores that you're in control of, But, yeah, when you're a manager, supervisor at retail, it's trash. So my mom probably just wasn't making good money, man. And my dad paid child support and everything, but I guess she just was struggling, I don't know why. Probably afraid to ask my dad for money and stuff. But, anyway, My whole point is, though, is that very few and far between did I get any kind of stuff like that, dude, for sure, like never. And so for her to do that, I knew she kind of went out of her way to do that for me. And so I'm really always thankful for that. I always think about that all the time. I call her probably once a year and tell her that, you know. Yes, I call her more than once a year. But what I'm saying is I bring that up once a year and just say, remember when you did that? Well, that was really nice of you, you know. And it made me help to be a better parent too, in the sense of sometimes you got to do what you got to do for your kids, even if it's kind of a harder road. And yeah, you know, you may not have the money or the means to do something, but sometimes you fucking do it anyways, and then you fucking fight the battle later, you know. And that's kind of what I learned from it. And so, yeah, I was really thankful that she did that for me. And I'll never forget it, you know. I'll never forget it. There's a reason why that game's kind of special to me, and it's because of that. So, yeah, WWF Attitude, PlayStation 1 will always hold a very, very special place in my heart, that's for sure. And I always want one CIB. I actually have 2 of them CIB, accidentally. But one I bought from Gaming Off the Grid's table when I was with them. So I was like, I'll actually buy this off of you. And so that's kind of makes it even more special, as it was Wes's, you know, Wes and Robert's. So kind of cool. But anyway, guys, I got to head to dinner. Going to Grandma's house. I hope all of you are having a freaking awesome day. Watch some football, watch some porn, watch whatever you watch, do whatever you want to do. And most of all, have a good, you know what, fuck that, have a hood-ass day. I'll talk to you later, you little shit stain.